What's up, everybody? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. My name is Nicole and I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. I am also a medication-assisted treatment advocate, as well as somebody who's utilized the maintenance medication before too. Tonight we're going to talk about the difference between judging people and helping people. Because there's a difference, okay? Trying to educate people on their misinformation, it's not judging people, you guys. And a lot of you guys have gotten too soft in your young age. Hey Joe, there's a difference. Just because we are sharing the truth about some misinformation that's being spread around TikTok does not mean that we're judging anyone. And it literally cracks me up when I hear people saying that. That's like, of course you're going to say that. Because you're trying to protect somebody that doesn't give a damn about you. Okay? You guys listen to me, alright? I am on suboxone. I have personal lived experience, okay? My friends know I'm on suboxone. I talk about it here on my platform. I attend MARA meetings. That's my recovery group. I do recovery support group meetings here on TikTok, and I try to help people where they're at, right? When I see somebody using their platform to say misinformation on the internet that could potentially scare somebody from getting life-saving treatment, I'm gonna stand up and say something about it, okay? Now listen to me. I had a lady, her name is Mary. She has a daughter named Hannah. You guys have all saw her videos. Her daughter died of an overdose at 17 years old just a month ago. It's been 30 days exactly since her daughter passed away from a drug overdose. Her daughter was 17, okay? 17. It was her first relapse. She didn't even have a chance to even learn about recovery. She had 6 weeks sober, relapsed, and is now dead. Tell me this. You ask that mother if she could have had her daughter be on suboxone, would she have wanted that? Yeah, because her daughter would be alive today. So, these people who go out and say stupid shit and they spread misinformation about medication-assisted treatment to fit an agenda. That is what Richie does, okay? I know him. I've known him for almost 6 years now. And you guys on TikTok are just coming onto the scene and learning about all the snaky shit that people do in the recovery world, okay? The people like him work, and the way that they make money is by referring people out to treatment. They're paid by those treatment centers to refer those people to treatment. Now, of course, whatever treatment center he works for, if he works for a treatment center that provides suboxone, I bet you $500, he'd be saying, yeah, suboxone's fine, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's just, we don't need to put out misinformation like that, because our platforms, we need to use our voices, you guys, for good, okay? If you're going to talk about medication-assisted treatment, at least make sure that you know what you're talking about. So I didn't want to talk about this because I was using suboxone illegally back in 2013, 2014. Me and my husband were buying it off the street from this guy named, God, what was his name? His name doesn't matter. We were buying it off the street. I didn't want to talk about it because I shouldn't have been doing that, but I'm going to talk to you guys about it. Me and my husband were buying suboxone off the street, okay? And I love you too, Joe. I know that's your way of telling me that you love me. I love you too. Cupcake crew in the house. Cupcake crew in the house. Cupcake crew in the house. We're sweet. We're soft. Cupcake crew in the house. Okay, anyway. Me and my husband were illegally obtaining suboxone back in 2013, 2014. We wanted to get sober, and we kept relapsing and getting high and yada, yada, yada. So we were buying this guy's whole prescription, okay? And so we were on it for a good 30 to 60 days, maybe even a little bit longer than that. No, Sean, no. It's just an inside joke. So we were on it for like 30 to 60 days. And damn, my little cheeks are red, huh? I might have put a little too much rouge on, y'all. A little too much rouge. We were on it for like 30 to 60 days. And we were taking it every day, 8 to 16 milligrams a day, okay? And that's all we were taking, and we were doing really good. Well, we ended up, the guy ended up going to jail, and so we couldn't get the prescription no more. We were fucked, right? So we went through cold turkey suboxone withdrawal. At this time, neither one of us had a job. We had no money. We were really fucked, you guys. So I remember like it was yesterday. We were sitting in this house upstairs, right? And we were both sick. Now let me tell you how the withdrawal went. We both came off 8 to 16 milligrams. You know, some days we take 8, sometimes we would take 12, sometimes we would take 16. Well, what had happened was we went off cold turkey, and I think we had some like medicine from some clonidine and a couple of Xanaxes and Klonopins, but that was all we had. And the withdrawal didn't even start until 4 days in. Okay, 4 days in is when it started. Now, my husband is a little bitch when it comes to withdrawal. So he was crying and kicking and screaming, and he had really bad restless legs. But I'm going to tell you guys this. I felt like shit. Of course, I didn't feel good, but I managed it. Do you know what I'm saying? I had the worst diarrhea. That's one thing that I always have is really bad diarrhea. And it's not so much restless legs for me, it's restless arms. And I will stay up all night and not get any sleep. So it was probably a good 5 days in, that's when we started really feeling it. Okay, that's when it hit. Like the main part of the withdrawal started coming on, right? We were fighting, we were cussing each other out. I was literally shitting diarrhea out of my asshole. Like it was literally flying out of my asshole. I couldn't even get to the bathroom on time. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that the withdrawal was no worse than regular opiate withdrawal. What was hard is that it lasted longer. That is what made it difficult, because it didn't even start until about 5 days in, really get started. And so that's what you guys need to know, is that Suboxone withdrawal, the reason why a lot of people say it's worse is because it doesn't get started until about 5 days in. And that's because Suboxone has a long half-life. Now, if we know that, right, and I'm fixing to eat a big-ass bowl of yogurt and strawberries and granola. If we know that it doesn't start until 4 or 5 days in, then guess what? We can prepare. So that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, taper all the way down as low as you can get. I would suggest, and I'm not a doctor, this is just my suggestion, getting down to like, okay, so you know a half of a milligram is 0.5, then get down to a half, or then get down to half of 0.5, which is 0.25, then get down to half of 0.25, which is 0.125. Get down to that low amount, and baby, call me, and we will go through it together. I'll help you. We can do it together. Okay? Y'all can ask everybody on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. What do I do? I'll be your cheerleader. You call me, I'll help you stay accountable. People call me all the time when they're going through Suboxone withdrawal, or they're going through regular withdrawal and they're trying to get onto Suboxone. And I help them stay the course, okay? I will literally cheer your ass on. Everybody on the internet has my personal cell phone number, so I'll tell y'all. It's 501-258-1833. You can text me on that. And I'll help you through it. Do I get paid to do that? No. Okay? But I'll do it and I'll help you out. So we can do it together. I'm going to the doctor Thursday. Everybody here knows I'm on Suboxone. I've been really open about being on medication-assisted treatment. I have no reason to lie about it. Okay, guys? Suboxone saved my life. I'm not ashamed to be on Suboxone. I am so grateful to this medication because for so many years, I tried to do it on my own and I kept failing. So, getting on Suboxone was literally the catalyst or the changing point for me. The catalyst for me to get sober was my son getting taken away. Okay, but I'm not ashamed to be on Suboxone. But I know people that are. I know people that are ashamed. And that's why I'm speaking out. That's why I'm speaking up. That's why I'm standing up for us, you guys. Because there's nothing to be ashamed of. I was ashamed because I looked at everyone else's recovery and I thought, why can't I get this? Why can't I get this like they do? What's wrong with me? Why can't I go to AA and NA and get sober and stay sober? I've tried so many times. Do you know how many times I've tried to get sober through AA and NA and had sponsors and was working the steps and chairing meetings? I was going to fucking conventions, everything. And for some reason, I just couldn't do it. I kept failing. I kept falling back. I kept relapsing. I was so discouraged, man, because I was seeing all these other people doing it this way, and that's the only way that I had ever been taught. I didn't know there was such thing as medication-assisted treatment. I was never taught that. Here in Arkansas, the way it was whenever I was trying to get sober and I was using drugs 6 years ago was everybody talked about going through AA, doing rehab, and that's it. Or church. Or getting saved. And that's how a lot of people do it here in the South. They get saved. Okay? And so I was looking at everybody else and I was like, oh my gosh, all these other people are getting sober and I'm not staying sober. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get this? I must be it's me. I'm the loser, right? I must not want it enough. And that's what they would tell me in the AA meetings, in the NA meetings. They would tell me, if you were willing, you must not be willing enough. You must not really want it that bad. You must not be serious about your sobriety. And I was doing everything they told me to do. Okay? Christina, do I look high right now? Because I'm on Suboxone. I'm not high. I'm level-headed. I'm very smart. I help people every single day. And I am on medication-assisted treatment. Okay? So, I'm looking at all these people and they're all doing it that way. You know what I mean? They're all getting sober through abstinence. And I'm like, damn, man. I'm just getting really discouraged. And so I kept trying. I was in and out of rehab centers. One rehab, two rehab, three rehab. Then the next thing I know, I get a felony charge for possession of a controlled substance. And you'll never guess. It was methamphetamine. Because not only am I addicted to opiates, I'm also an IV methamphetamine addict, cocaine addict. I'm addicted to Xanax and benzos. I drink alcohol like it's going out of style. I am an addict to all substances. And so not only was I abusing opiates, I was abusing other drugs. I was a poly addict. And so I get busted with methamphetamine. I get pulled over. I got a syringe in my purse. They busted me. The syringe literally had that much meth in it. And I got a whole ass charge for that shit. And now I'm on felony probation. I've never been in trouble in my life except for one time when I was 17 years old. I got a public intox. And ever since then, I've never gotten in trouble. I graduated high school. I have good parents. They're still married. I have 2 little sisters. I went to college for a couple of years. Failed out because I was too high on methamphetamine to learn anything. But I gave it a fucking try. You know, worked a job, had my own job. looked from the outside looking in, I looked like I had it all together, you know, but I was not. I battled a very, very, very horrible drug addiction. It was 6 months after I started shooting up methamphetamine that I got my charge for possession. And I eventually went to prison. So before my prison stay, there's rehab number 4, because my probation officer said, you need to go to treatment. I'm going to give you a chance, go to treatment. And so she sent me to treatment. And let me just explain something to you guys. Every time I've ever went to rehab, I gave it my all. I listened to everything they told me to do. I wanted to be sober. I wanted to be happy, joyous, and free, like all the other people that I saw. I wanted to be like them. I would hear them tell their stories, just like I'm telling you a story right now. And they would tell me about how they got sober and how their lives have changed. And how happy they were. And I wanted that. So I'm in rehab number 4. I'm listening to everything they're telling me to do. They know I'm addicted to multiple substances. I came in there. They had to detox me off opiates, benzos, methamphetamine, and alcohol. I was in detox with a girl. We had a room together. And I remember I diarrheaed on the floor by accident because I was trying to get to the bathroom from the bed. And my asshole was just like, it was shooting, okay? And I was crying. I was so embarrassed. But me and that girl, we bonded over diarrhea. And we became such good friends. And we stayed connected. And we helped each other through the treatment. And we were doing good. We would study our recovery at night. We would read our big book together. You guys, I can read and tell you all about the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I can share with you guys all the many 4th steps I've done and how I've had many, many, many spiritual experiences, letting go of all the resentments that I had built up in my life. I can tell you guys all that. My brain is damaged, and I'm just speaking the truth. My brain is damaged from all the drugs that I did. And even here, sitting before you with almost 6 years off of all illicit substances, the only thing I take is my medication, okay? I still have problems where I don't feel normal. I feel like I don't have energy. I feel like I don't, I can't, like my words and stuff, sometimes I stutter over them and I get distracted from things. I'm just not the same person that I was before I started using drugs. I'm not the same person. My brain is forever changed from all those fucking substances I did for 13 fucking years. So I come out of the treatment center. I graduate with flying colors. I did really, really good. Really good. They were telling my probation officer, she did great. She listened to everything we said. She got a sponsor. She did everything, right? I come out of there and I relapsed not even 30 days later, you guys. And so now I'm going to prison. Now I've never been to fucking prison before. I've never been to jail for more than one night. I knew my life was fixing to change. I got to prison. I'm locked up in the jailhouse, coming off of Xanaxes, methamphetamine, opiates. I went and took me a bunch of Xanax and went and passed out and slept for the first 2 days I was in the jail. And then, you know what the great thing about being in jail is, you guys? When you're in jail, you know you can't get out. So you know what? Going through withdrawal in jail for me wasn't nothing but a thing. I handled it like a motherfucking beast. And I was fine. I was fine because psychologically, I knew I couldn't get no drugs in that county jail. Do you guys know that when you're trying to come off of drugs, the withdrawal, a lot of this, even though we do have physical withdrawal, so much of it comes from our minds. That withdrawal in jail, it was nothing. And it was because my mind knew that I couldn't get no dope. See, when you're out in the free world and you're withdrawing, you know all it is a phone call away. All it is a drive down the block to Z's house. In jail, it is so much easier because psychologically, you can't go there. You can't go there. I made it through my little 60 days in county jail, and I was sentenced to prison. And they took me to prison. And I stayed there for a year. And I remember when I was laying on my rack, the first night I was locked up, I was laying on my rack, and I was like, damn, dude, this is where my life has got me. Like I said, my mom and dad are solid, good people. I was raised up in the church. This is county jail, okay? Now in prison, yes, I could get drugs. And I did get drugs in prison, and I'll share that with you guys in just a second. So let's not, I'm telling you guys the story. And so listen, because it's important, you guys. It's important for y'all to understand this. Because so many people say, oh, you don't need to be on suboxone, or nobody should take suboxone. It's so horrible. Well, what about people who are like really wanting to change and just haven't been able to get it and have tried so many fucking times? What about people like me who tried millions of times to get sober and really genuinely wanted to get sober? So that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. So I'm in prison. I'm laying on my rack, and I'm like, damn, dude, I'm locked up for a whole year. And I have a little calendar hanging on the wall. And I'm just crossing the days out as they go. But that first night was horrible, because all I could do was sit there and think about how did this come to this? How did my life get to this point? What happened? How am I here? Do you know what I'm saying? Well, a year went by, and probably about 3 months before I was supposed to get out, I met a girl in there who was getting hydros. Well, it wasn't nothing to do that, get hydros. So, the last 2 months I was locked up, I was eating hydros. But about 2 weeks before it's time for me to leave, I straightened my act up again, stopped the hydros, and was fine. I left treatment. I went into sober living. Okay? I went into sober living, and I did amazing. In sober living, you guys, I had structure. I listened to what my counselor told me to do. I listened to what my sponsor told me to do. And I was doing so good. I got a full-time job. I was doing the damn thing. And again, about 6 to 9 months into it, I relapsed. Okay, and so now I'm like, damn, man, I'm just like, am I doomed to use drugs for the rest of my life? Like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get this? Like, all my friends are getting it. When I relapsed that next time, I did not come back. I did not come back, and I stayed out, and I was shooting meth, I was shooting oxys, I was shooting anything I could put into a fucking syringe. I was couch hopping. I had no permanent address. I was sleeping in my car when I could. I was getting pulled over all the time. It was horrible. It was horrible. Hold on just a second, you guys. Hey, James, if I trigger you, then scroll. Scroll on by, baby. That's all you got to do is scroll on by. See ya. Same for you, Manuel. If you don't like it, scroll on by, baby. So, okay. So, sorry about that. I'm not going to let them get me off track. Some people, honestly, you guys, are haters. And they can't handle the truth. And they don't like to see someone like me rising above. And I won't let anyone judge me or take me down. And I am going to help anyone on here who is on medication-assisted treatment, who has felt judged, who has felt ridiculed, who has felt put down. I am here so you can get strength from me, because my sobriety is strong. My recovery is valid. Okay? I am literally walking, talking truth. I am an example for those of you guys that are on medication-assisted treatment, that you can do anything you put your mind to, that you can change your life, that you can help other people, okay? Because I am doing it every single day. Every single day. And I want you guys to know that you can do it too. That is why. That's why I started sharing my story about being on medication-assisted treatment. And that's why those judgmental assholes on Facebook who are recovery advocates tried to shun me, tried to tell me I wasn't in recovery, tried to tell me I wasn't good enough to share my story, tried to tell me that I had no business helping others, because they knew that I was going to be a force to be reckoned with. And look at me now. So, back to the story. I relapsed after being in the sober living, and I was so fucking disappointed in myself. And I remember calling my mom and dad, and my parents were so upset because I had been sober for like 9 months, and they were so proud of me. They were so proud of me, and I know they were, because my dad came to see me when I was locked up. He would visit me every Saturday, him and my mom. So when I got out, they were so proud of me. And then I fell back again. And I was just like, screw it, I'm not going back. Obviously, recovery's not for me. I can't do it. I can't do it like any other people can. So, I stayed out. And I kept shooting up. And I overdosed. I ended up in a 7-day coma. My mom came to see me in the hospital. My dad came in there and he fell to the ground because I was laying there with tubes coming out of me. I sold my car for $2,000 so I could get it out of impound, and I didn't even get it back. I sold it to a lady for that money so I could go out and buy more pills. I was calling the police on myself. I was wandering up and down the streets in the middle of the night, high and in hallucinations. In 2012, I met my husband. I was sleeping on my friend's couch. Her name was Kaylee, and she let me have a couch so I could sleep over there. You know what I mean? And my husband came over, and that's when we met. And I fell in love with my husband the moment I even laid eyes on him. I knew that we were going to be together. You know, I knew we were going to get married. I knew we were going to be together forever. I had no idea that he also struggled with the disease of addiction. Well, it wasn't too shortly after that I realized it, and I figured it out, because we started using drugs together. And it was 2012 when we got together. He and I were abusing methadone. We were shooting meth. We were eating Xanaxes. I was literally killing him, y'all. I drove us into a brick wall because he was having a seizure. And I was like, he had a seizure. We had been eating a bunch of benzos. He had a seizure. And I was like, I'm going to take him to the hospital. And so I'm driving down the street, right? There's 3 hospitals. And I passed by every fucking hospital and crashed into a brick wall. It was horrible. One time we were at the apartment, he had another seizure because he had been taking a bunch of tramadol, and his hands turned in like this, and he was standing up, and he just went timber like a big tree. It was so fucking scary. Well, we were together, and we weren't even together. It was probably like at a year and a half, and we got pregnant. We got pregnant, and I remember I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Because I can't stay sober. How am I gonna have a baby? How am I gonna do this and get sober? How am I gonna do this, right? Well, I didn't get sober. And this is the hardest thing, but I abused drugs the whole time I was pregnant. I was shooting meth. I was on benzos. I was just out there, you guys. And I gave birth to my son while I was high on drugs. I didn't get to enjoy my pregnancy because I was high on drugs. I was so ashamed. I would cry every single time I would use drugs. I would beat myself up. I would cuss myself out. I would tell myself what a piece of shit I was. I would hate myself. I hated myself. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. The only reason why I wouldn't kill myself is because I had a baby inside of me, and I just wanted to kill myself. When I gave birth to my son, it was nothing short of a miracle. He came out perfect, unscathed, no drugs in his system, 100% amazing. Amazing little boy. And that day, I held him and I said, I'm going to change. I'm never going to go back to that life. I'm going to do this for my son. If I can't do it for me, I'm going to do it for my son. And for the next 90 days, I did it. I white-knuckled it. I said, I'm not using drugs. I'm not using drugs. And on about 90 days after that, something happened. And I took a Xanax bar. And the next thing you know, I was off to the races. I was off to the races. A year went by, and my best friend called CPS on me. She was using too. She didn't do it because she was trying to help me. She did it out of spite, but it ended up saving my life. When my son got taken away, I went into treatment right away. Went into detox right away. Did my 30 days, came out. My husband picked me up. And my husband said, I'm on suboxone. I've done it before. It worked for me. I'm going to do this. This is going to help me. You know, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And I remember I was so mad at my husband. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you get on suboxone? Remember that last time we took suboxone? It was horrible, right? And he was like, Nicole, if you take it as prescribed, you will be okay. It helped me stay sober 10 years ago when I first started it. See, my husband was one of the people that first tried suboxone. When it first came out, they had a study, and my husband was paid to take the medication. And so he had great results with it. Well, I wasn't having it. And I said, no, I'll do my own thing. And for the next 3 days, I was tortured. I felt like shit. I was triggered. I wanted to use. I was having cravings. I was crying. Everything. It was horrible. And then I sat down and I met with my counselor, and I met with a doctor, and I met with our caseworker, and I met with my parents and his parents, and I tried. I said, I'll give it a try. And I got on suboxone, you guys, and I never looked back. And I've never relapsed, not one fucking time since I've been on medication-assisted treatment. So out of all those years, 13 years of relapsing, getting sober, relapsing, getting sober, all I needed to do was give medication-assisted treatment a try. And it saved my life. And today I'm here before you, and I've been sober ever since. I have full custody of my son back. I have an amazing job. I get to help people here on TikTok. I love making content and sharing my story. I love helping people, and I really want to help people. Like, my heart is really in it for the right reasons. I'm not like one of these shady ass, fake ass fools. Like, this is literally means everything to me. Okay? I don't take this lightly. And so when people come on here and they want to talk shit to me, I'm not going to take it, because I've worked my ass off to get to where I'm going. And part of my story is being on maintenance. And I'm going to stick up for people like me who are on maintenance. Hey, Noodle Brother. You know, when someone's drinking, you guys sit down and really have a conversation with them. If you guys have problems communicating, maybe look up some videos about alcoholism and recovery and send him one. That might open the conversation up, you know? And here's the thing, you guys. Like, I have no agenda. I don't get paid if you get on Suboxone. I don't get paid if you go to see Dr. B. That's not how it works. That's not what I do. That's not my job, okay? My job, I am literally a person who, like I said, I answer the phones, I manage his social media accounts, and that's what I do for Dr. B. I'm not a headhunter for treatment centers. I don't have to go out and find people to go into rehab to get paid for my job. Okay? The reason why I work where I work is because I believe in the treatment. And I believe in medication assisted treatment because I personally am on it. And that's why it's so easy for me to talk about it and share about it, because I have personal lived experience with it. So I'm not going to let people talk shit about maintenance. I'm not going to let that happen. It's awesome, Ashley. And so my whole purpose in sharing this with you guys is to show you, like, I tried everything. Okay? I tried. You guys, there's treatment in every state. There's rehabs in every state. If you're trying to go to rehab, all you have to do is look up drug rehab on Google and type in your city, and it'll pull up a whole list. I'm eating yogurt with strawberries and granola. And here's the thing, you guys. When I looked for treatment, I called every place around here. When I lived in Hot Springs, I called every place in Hot Springs. I didn't go online and have somebody, I just looked them up and called them. Dee Dee, I'm proud of you. And here, that's another thing, Aaron. A lot of people who struggle with addiction also have chronic pain. Hey, Christina, there's a free place in Florida that I know that I have sent like 4 people to, and it's called Jill's Place, and it's in Naples, Florida, and it's 100% free. It's a year-long program. If you need Narcan, all you have to do is look up harm reduction in your area in Florida, and it'll pull up a whole bunch of places where they either sell it or you can get it for free. Naples, Florida, Jill's Place. Yeah, I literally have sent 4 people there, and my best friend Nick went there, and it's 100% free, and it's amazing. But it's a year-long program, so you have to be willing to dedicate that time to the program, you know, and they train you in a job, everything. And the reason why I recommend that place to people is because my friend Nick went there, and he speaks very highly of it. And he's a good, solid guy. Here in Arkansas, they haven't started doing that, like when they get at the sub doctor, but they might. I'm going to go see him on Thursday. Aaron, I'll have 6 on July 13th. So, here's the thing, you guys. Like, I do these videos every night at 7:30. Not because I like attention, not because I want to trigger you, because I want to help, and I offer resources here, and we communicate with each other, and we have a good time. And so anybody can come here and chat with us. I share stories with you guys. I talk about all kinds of different stuff, but I've done everything there is to do in recovery. I've worked AA. The only program I didn't work is NA program, but I did get their step working guide. And I had that for like a really long time. Now I do things like meditation. I wake up every morning. I thank my higher power for helping me stay sober the day before. I ask him to guide me in my life that day. Thank you. Thank you, girl. I see you. Thanks for my Caitlin, right? Caitlin, Kayla. I know it starts with a K, girl. I know you start with a K. See, special Megs. That's why you need to be here with us. And see, when people come in here and they try to say mean, hateful things to throw me off course, you guys, it's because they're miserable in their own lives. And they wish that they were doing something like we're doing, because we're actually helping each other. And you know what? I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a star. I'm not a guru. I'm a regular person just like you. And that's what makes it even better. I'm a girl who lost custody of her son and got on suboxone, got my life back and fought and got my child back. I'm just like you. We are the same. No one is better than the other. There's no hierarchy here of, oh, this is the top person, da 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 da. I see, I don't think of myself like that, but there are people in here on TikTok that do. What's up, Christina? Ask away. Who think that they are better than us, that they think that they're on a different level than us. That's when you lose me, honey. Humble yourself. I'm nobody. I am literally the same. Okay? I struggle with my self-confidence. That's why I've been trying to dance more, because I can dance and I want to show you guys. What kind of person would I be if I'm up here trying to help you guys stay in recovery, trying to help you guys do the right thing, and I can't even get up here and fucking do my own thing that I try to give out advice to you guys about. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take my own advice. When you were getting your son back, did they have an issue with subs? Sarah, yes. How do I manage what? Yeah, they did. So let me tell you what happened, okay? So me and my husband were both on suboxone, and we had no relapses. Like, we got our hair follicle tests, we took our parenting classes, we were taking all of our drug screens. In fact, you guys, I used to have to call my caseworker, love you too, Emmer, to remind them to come drug test me because they would forget. So, it was the day we were supposed to get custody back at our court date. And we went in there, and the attorney ad litem gets on the stand and says that we need to get off suboxone, that we're still high. Hell no! I brought backup. I had the nurse there. I had my counselor there. I had the doctor there. I had a whole crew of people who got up on that stand, and they fucking spoke out for me and my husband and said, they are not high. This is the fucking best we've ever seen them. They're doing amazing. They're both gainfully employed. They both are living a stable life. And we fought that shit. We fought that shit. That was 6 years ago, before they started really accepting medication-assisted treatment. But we fought it. And you know what we did? We fought it with science, you guys. Science, okay? Chad Sabora has a TikTok account. Y'all need to check out his account. But the rate of people staying sober without medication-assisted treatment is so low. People are relapsing. They're going back out. Okay? So giving a person the opportunity to utilize maintenance medication is life-saving. It's life-saving, okay? Just because somebody's on medication-assisted treatment doesn't mean that they're not in recovery. I'm not getting high on suboxone. Listen to me, you guys. When I'm getting high, you know it. I can't keep my fucking life together. When I'm getting high, I am literally sunk in, drawed up, looking all kinds of crazy, super duper manic, up and down, up and down. And listen, I am very outspoken and very freaking, I stand up for myself, right? But I didn't get this way overnight. The reason why I've had to get this way is because people have attacked my recovery and people have tried to tear me down. And so I've had to go out and educate myself about suboxone so that way I can stand up for myself. You know, suboxone is an amazing, amazing medication. Okay, it saved my life. if I hadn't gotten on it, I don't think I would be here today because I just couldn't stop relapsing. No, you don't have to take it for the rest of your life. You can taper anytime. My state, someone I know is having trouble getting their kids back because of subs. Yes, Sarah, they need to have their doctor and the nurses and the counselors go to court with them. They asked for my hair follicle test like the first 6 months that my son was in custody. My husband and I are still together. Yeah, I used to see Cy from Duck Dynasty in the vents. True story. When I'm high, that's what happens. I see people in the vents. I talk to people that aren't there. And so that's why, like, when people give me a hard time, I'm like, if you only knew what I was like when I was in active addiction, you would understand. And the problem is that other people in recovery are furthering the stigma of medication-assisted treatment. And what I honestly think it is, I think it's because they're jealous. I think it's because they feel like, yes, you do, High Life, you do. He watches, I don't know if you're he or she, but you watch all my live streams, so you know the story times. And listen, let me address that too. I tell story times because I want to keep you guys engaged, okay? There is an art to public speaking and to doing these groups every night. If I just came up here and we talked about recovery and it was just kind of like, you know, just the same kind of recovery shit over and over again, you wouldn't want to come back. So what I do is I hit you with some fucking crazy ass shit. I keep you coming back. I'm kind of like a drug dealer, only with recovery. And so I can't just sit out here and fucking talk about, well, you guys, you need to do the next right thing. You need to stay sober. You need to make sure you're going to therapy. You need to reach out for help when you're triggered. You need to da-da-da-da, right? Like, I got to add a little flair to it. I got to add a little spice to it. So that way I keep y'all coming back, okay? That's why I just share all of it. Because I know how people are on social media. Okay? I know how people are. Y'all will forget about me tomorrow. There's so many people on social media. So what I try to do is I try to relate to you by sharing my life with you guys, my real, true fucking shit. And so it took me a while to get past the point where I was so ashamed to share about that kind of stuff. You know? Hey, Ganja Queen, can you send me a DM on here so I can send you my email? And you can send it to me on email. Yes. I love your story times. They have testimony, metaphor, and a clear takeaway. Absolutely. And here's the thing, you guys. Like, I'm not here to tell you the stories because I'm like, it always has something that you can learn from that. You know what I mean? And that's why I share the stories with you, you know, and also because, like, I know a lot of you guys, 80% of the people that watch me are women. And so I know that you guys are probably going through the same things I go through. Did you go to Graceland, Liz? Call out the dangerous people on here. Don't stop. Went through rehab. So much love. You know what? I actually got a private message from the sister of the girl that was 18 that was in Graceland that they threw out or something. And so I'm going to be talking to her because here's the thing, you guys. Like, when somebody's coming off of methamphetamine and heroin and they're trying to get sober, they need medical attention. Going into somewhere like a sober living, like, or whatever you want to call it, I call it a reality TV show, is what Graceland is. Going into Graceland, the reality TV show, sober living, while you're trying to detox off of meth, benzos, and opiates, is a death sentence. And it's dangerous. Okay? That's why with Dr. B, you have to be assessed by by Dr. B before you come to us, because we can't just take you in and put you in sober living if you're all withdrawing. Right. Sober living is for after. Yep. But you guys got to understand, they're hurting over there. Anybody that's willing to pay $4,000 for sober living is ridiculous. Okay? Hell no, I don't work for Graceland. Where the hell did you get that from? Where the heck did you get that from? Yeah. You guys, it doesn't matter if you've been using drugs for 25 years and you stopped for one day, you need to go into detox. Drugs like benzodiazepines, do you know how long I was testing positive for benzos? 45 days. 45 days and I was still testing positive for benzos. Okay? So, I don't know a lot about that place. I just know that people need medical attention. Doctors, nurses, psychologists, psychiatrists. Okay? Not your peers. And that's all that is. That's a house of peers, okay? Nobody there is a professional. $4,000 a month for sober living is ridiculous. I went to detox. I was there for 5 days. And I was like, I need to stay here one more day. And they let me stay one more day, so it made 6 days. And then I went straight into a residential treatment center. Now, the residential treatment center I went to had psychiatrists, nurses, doctors, everything. As far as I know, it's Pat that's in charge. But aren't they all like making OnlyFans accounts? Which, listen, you guys. Fun fact, in August, I have to start to be sober. Well, High Life, I'm excited for you, and I can't wait to see how you do. And if you need help, you know I got you. High Life. Is that who I think it is? High Life, do I know you? Is that Jake? High Life. Is that Jake watching me? No? Maybe yes? I think it is. Anyway. Anyway. Long story short, you guys. Don't be ashamed. Okay. I know a kid named Jake that's going to be going to electrician school. That's why I was asking. Okay. Anyway. I don't know how to do that here in Arkansas. I talked to Dr. B and them about that. I might. I don't know. Okay. Y'all want a story time? All right. Come on in. Everybody come on in. Sit down. Go get a snack. Energy. Girl, I ain't got none of that. Y'all give me energy. Coming on here and sharing with you guys gives me energy. This is how I get energy. From being with you guys. Jay, love you. Spiral Squad. Oh, thank you, Nat. Thank you. Energy who? Exactly. You guys, it might seem like I have energy. I don't. I really don't. I push myself because I push myself because I know I have to. I know that I have to get up. I know that I have to do my recovery. I know that I have to take care of my child. I know that I need to help people because that's what helps me stay sober. And that's what I do. You know, and I'm not trying to discourage any of you guys, okay? Please do not get discouraged. But I really did a lot of damage to my body using drugs. And I'm just now starting to really reap the repercussions of all my drug addiction. My body is just wore out. I'm getting older. I'll be 40 next year. I'm overweight. I don't eat good. and honestly, a lot of that is because I used drugs for so long. Yeah, take my bra off. Don't judge me. My back's hurting. I used drugs for so long. So then when I got sober, I didn't learn how to eat right. I just started eating junk and I gained a bunch of weight. Okay. And so, now I'm trying to turn all that around, but it's hard. It's hard, you guys, because not only do I have an addiction to drugs, but I'm also somebody who struggles with food addiction. And so like my little bowl of yogurt that I just ate, I was trying to, that was a healthy choice for me. You know what I mean? And I tried to just make healthy choices, you know? Hey, Carrie, how did you do once you got your Hep C treated? Because that's what I'm doing next. Y'all know that I had to get my insurance back. And I got it back. And so now I'm going to be getting my Hep C treatment. I'm going to the dentist for my teeth next week. Because I have really bad periodontal disease. And so my gums are just receding down so bad. But listen to me. Listen to me, all of you. We have got to keep sharing about what works for us. And this is what I want people to understand. I want to get really clear, okay? I'm not trying to push suboxone on any of you guys, okay? What I am trying to do is share what helped save my life. And that helped me. If it doesn't work for you and you don't believe in it, I understand. But I want to give you guys options. There's options out there. You don't have to struggle. You know what I mean? You don't have to go through withdrawal and fucking feel like you're going to die. You can get help. And that's my whole point with sharing about being on maintenance. I also feel like I feel an obligation to stand up for us. I don't know what it is. It's just in my heart that I need to stick up for us because people judge us so much. So that's why, like, I speak up about maintenance so much, because I have been judged and it felt like shit. You know? So, yeah, that's it. Oh, and exactly, a lot of people don't even know that there's Suboxone out there. A lot of people only know about methadone, and, you know, I don't have anything against methadone. I think it has its place, and that some people do better on it. But I really, really love Suboxone. So, it helped me a lot. So, that's why I share about it. So, story time, okay? Okay. So this story is going to be about, let me think. Okay, I got a story time for you. This is a story about the time I went to the emergency room because I couldn't breathe. I thought I was dying. Ready? Let's go. So the year was 2003-ish. And I was dating this guy. Y'all know who it was. It was LD. Now, Vivitrol, Liz. Vivitrol. Vivitrol is like it helps for opiate and alcohol. And it can block the effects of opiates and alcohol. So, yeah, Vivitrol or Antabuse. There's a medication called Antabuse. And Antabuse is really hardcore, though. If you drink on Antabuse, it'll make you violently ill. But that's an option too. So, okay, here we go. The year was 2003, okay? And I was living with my boyfriend, LD. Now, this dude was a scumbag, okay? And like a real scumbag, okay? I'm not saying that because I'm scorned, okay? He beat me. He beat me. He would beat my ass, bounce my head off the concrete, kick me in my face. Just horrible to me. In fact, one night I had been at work. I worked at the revenue office, and I worked for Sonic as an assistant manager. So I was at the revenue office from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, and then I was at Sonic from 5:30 until 10 or 11. And so I was on my way back from being at Sonic at like midnight, right? Well, he had been at a party with all the people in the neighborhood because we live in a trailer park. So he had been at a party with all the people in the trailer park. Now, you'll need to understand this. His family all lived in this trailer park. It was like me and him, his sister and her boyfriend, his brother and his wife and children. And so like 5 trailers of family, right? And then a bunch of people that we knew that we were all friends with. So what would happen is everybody would get together and party, you know, at one of the trailers. Well, I guess he had had too much fun at one of the parties, and he slept with this girl named Stacy. I'll never forget it. He slept with her. He cheated on me. Well, I came home, and he didn't tell me he had slept with her, and we slept together. And I was none the wiser until about 3 days went by, and I started itching and burning and burning and itching. That's right. I was itching and burning and itching. So I called my family practitioner, Dr. Kane. And I said, Dr. Kane, I need to come in because I think I have an STD. And I didn't tell him what I was doing. And so I went into the doctor, and they checked me. And lo and behold, I had gonorrhea, trichomonas, and chlamydia. The 3-in-1 special. I was pissed. I drove my fucking ass home and I confronted him. I said, you cheated on me and gave me 3 STDs. What the fuck? And that's when he told me he had slept with his sister's best friend, Stacy. That little fucking bitch. I was so fucking pissed. So now not only do I need to get the medication, but I gotta take this scumbag to go get the medication too. So I took his ass up there, and he got checked. They put the Q-tip up his peenie hole, and he had it too. And that's when I knew, right then, you piece of shit. Well, back then, I had no self-esteem. I had no self-confidence. I didn't love myself. I didn't think I was good enough. So you know what? I stayed with that piece of shit. I stayed with him. I stayed with him, and I took it for fucking... He beat me for the next 3 years. Well, we were in active addiction together, and we were both using methamphetamine. Now, see, this is before I started injecting methamphetamine. I was still just smoking it, snorting it. And one night, we were up in the trailer, and we had been up all night. And I would always get so high that I would get to a point of no return. I would get to the point where my mind started playing tricks on me. I would get to the point where I started seeing people that weren't really there, where I started hearing people that weren't there. This time was a little different. It was a more serious situation. I started hyperventilating. And so I'm calling him in the living room, and I'm breathing like this. And so I told him, go get me a big-ass jug of water. So he fills up a whole pitcher of water, and I'm sitting in the living room just drinking this water and going like this. Right? I couldn't take it no more. I started getting real afraid. And so I told him, I said, take me to the ER. He was like, Nicole, you do not need to go to the ER. You're tripping. You're fine, right? I was persistent. I was like, you need to take me to the ER. I'm going to die. I can't breathe. See, I'm not breathing. like that. You guys, he takes me to the ER, and I go up to the thing, and the lady automatically knows. She automatically knows. She says, have you taken any stimulants lately? And I went into this whole story time about how, oh, well, see, I was at a party and somebody had some and they offered it to me, and it was the first time I only did one little line. She knew right away. She brought me in the back room, sat me down on the little bed thing, gave me a Valium, and told me to go my ass home and go lay down. And so that's the time I fucking took my ass to the ER, telling him I couldn't breathe, high on methamphetamine. Another time, I called the police on myself. I've called the police on myself 2 or 3 times. One time, I was at my friend Chaz's house, and then another time, I was walking down the road, and I was just all in full-fledged hallucinations, scared for my fucking life. I was so afraid that I was going to die, you guys. And so I called 911, and the police came and got me. So that's the story. I just want you guys to know that, you know, I'm here to stick up for you guys. And if you're on suboxone and you feel ashamed or you feel embarrassed, you don't have to be. Okay? I don't want you guys to feel ashamed of your recovery. Also, look at the paintings Rebecca sent me from Lost in Translation, you guys. Aren't these cool? I'm going to put these up. Yeah, I called the police on myself. Let me tell you all about another time I hustled this guy. Okay? So I had this guy kind of like Joe Schmo. He loved me. He loved me. He just thought I was so funny and so cool. And so I knew I could take him for everything he had. He would come up to see me at my job every Thursday. I made chicken spaghetti at Kroger. And so it all started out was he wrote me a letter up to Kroger and said, I really love your chicken spaghetti, Nicole. And that's when I knew I had him hooked, you know. And so he started coming up to see me on Thursdays at Kroger, and I would make him chicken spaghetti. Well, our chicken spaghetti, well, Mike, I asked you to text me or DM me, honey, so we can plan it. I don't like just jumping on when I'm like in the middle of stuff, so I like to plan everything, especially when it's like a dual live. So that way I have what I know what I want to talk about, and that way I have it. I just like to plan it. I always plan things. So what had happened was he kept coming up there to see me, and I was like, he liked me. And so I remember I was like, I need $20. I tested the waters. Like, I was like, hey, I've been struggling. You know, I need some money. And I was struggling because I didn't have no money for drugs. And so he gave me $20. And then I knew right then, I was like, he is going to just help me as much as he can. And he did. He would just give me $100 here and then. He really liked me. He was a sweetheart. I feel bad now when I look back on it. I think, man, Nicole, you need to, if I could ever find him, I would tell him, I would make it up to him. You know what I mean? Like, I would give him some money back and make a financial amends to him. But I haven't seen him. I have not been able to find him or see him. You know what is so funny to me, though? All my amends that I said I would never make to people, I have been able to make. Because God placed them in my life. One time, listen to this. So, I thought I was never going to forgive the girl who called Child Protective Services on me. I wouldn't answer her phone calls. I had blocked her from all my social medias. I was fucking pissed at her. Well, 2 or 3 years passed, and I was at my job, and she came walking in, and I seen her. She looked at me, I looked at her. Tears started running down her face, and that was my moment. I told her I forgave her, and I wasn't upset with her, and that I told her that I was sorry for using drugs with her. Hey, thanks, Liz, that I felt horrible because I was using drugs with her, and that we were using drugs around her child. And I was able to bury that hatchet with her, you know. And now, you guys, she calls me. She's still in active addiction, but she calls me now, and I try to help her. You know, I try to give her words of encouragement. I try to help her to change. Now, she's really bad off, and she's not willing to stop doing meth yet. But hopefully one day I'll be able to get through to her, because I always, and this is the thing that I am about, I offer non-judgmental support. Like, I will not judge you. If you're in active addiction, you're welcome here. You know, I will not look down on you. I struggled for so many years to get myself back on track. You know, I'm a smart person, and I went to school. I work very hard. I'm very consistent. I'm a hell of a worker. I'm a workaholic. And so, I know what it's like to struggle. And so I'll never look down on anyone who's struggling. That's why all these people have tried to get me to jump on the bandwagon and be mean or hate on MS Ashy Cat. I won't do it, because I was just like her. I was just like her. I was just like her. I was crazy. I was manipulative. I was a little shithead. You know, I did stuff that I'm not proud of. And so I will never forget where I came from, ever. So, I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed chit-chatting with me tonight. I want you all to know that I'm here for you, and that I'm proud of you, and that you get your recovery any way you can. Do not worry about what other people say. If you're struggling and you need to get on suboxone or methadone or Vivitrol or Sublocade or whatever you choose, or you do NA or AA or CA or Celebrate Recovery, I don't care what you do. I just want you to do it. I just want you to put in that work, because it's not going to come easy, and it's going to take a lot of fucking sacrifice. Okay? It's going to take a lot of learning and opening your heart and reflection, introspection, looking in yourself. But if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. So, I love you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Central. Good night, you guys. And don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I'm going to upload this video over there on my YouTube channel. My YouTube is Real Talk Recovery with Nicole. Just by yourself. I was going to tell you, I know you work for Suboxone, or you're a Suboxone doctor. If you have clients who need all-inclusive recovery support, they can check out my YouTube channel, Real Talk Recovery with Nicole. Also, Mara is an amazing recovery meeting for people that are on maintenance. We have 12 steps, we have 12 traditions, but it's all centered around medication-assisted recovery anonymous. Our code is non-judgment. It's all-inclusive. It's amazing. And there's Zoom meetings 3 times a day. And all you have to do is go to Mara, MARA-international.org. So, and if any of you guys that are watching work for sub doctors, or, you know, are in the medical field, you know, and you need any information from me, just message me. I will send you all the information. I made flyers to hand out at Dr. B's Suboxone clinic, so people would have recovery resources and medication-assisted recovery meetings. So, thanks for being here, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night, guys.